Hello friends, welcome back. In our previous video, we have seen what are the disaccharides and the determination of ring size. In this lecture, we are going to study the polysaccharide and also the various types of reactions which can be possible on the carbohydrate units. Okay, so let's start with the polysaccharide. So what are the polysaccharide? The polysaccharide are the carbohydrate which containing more than 2 sugar units, for example the cellulose and the starch. You hear the cellulose or a starch, that are the polysaccharide. So the polysaccharide are carbohydrates that contain many monosaccharide units joined by the glycosidic bond. All the anomeric carbon atom of the polysaccharide are involved in the acetal formation. So the polysaccharide do not react with the Tollens reagent and they do not mutarotate. Means what? The polysaccharides are the sugar units or a carbohydrate which contain more than 2 sugar units, and as we know, for the formation of a disaccharide or a polysaccharide, the anomeric carbon of one sugar unit can reacted with the OH of another monosaccharide. Then after there is a formation of disaccharide. Same in the polysaccharide, there are more than 2 sugar unit can be joined via the glycosidic linkage. So for the glycosidic linkage, there is a involvement of anomeric carbon or anomeric OH of a first monosaccharide and the second hydroxyl group of the second monosaccharide or a disaccharide. That means the OH of a anomeric carbon or a anomeric carbon is not a free. Okay, therefore that this polysaccharide cannot react with the Tollens reagent. Means what? For the reaction with the Tollens reagent, the anomeric OH is free. When it is free, then and then only it can react with the Tollens reagent. But in the polysaccharide, there is a no OH group on the anomeric carbon because the polysaccharide is formed when the anomeric carbon of first monosaccharide is reacted with the OH of second disaccharide. Then and then only the polysaccharide is formed. That means on the anomeric carbon there is no free OH. There is a glycosidic linkage. Therefore, it cannot react with the Tollens reagent and it cannot be mutarotate. Okay, so the polysaccharide, that are the polymers of a single monosaccharide, are called the homopolysaccharide. Means what? If the polysaccharide is formed from the same monosaccharide units, then it is called the homopolysaccharide. Means what? If we use only the glucose D-glucose molecule, first monosaccharide is a D-glucose and the second disaccharide is also coming from the D-glucose. That means only the D-glucose, that is the same sugar, is used for the formation of polymer. Then it is called the homopolysaccharide. Okay, that means the single monosaccharide is used, then it is called homopolysaccharide. And if they made by more than one type of monosaccharide, are called the heteropolysaccharide. That means the polysaccharide is coming from two different monosaccharide that are called the heteropolysaccharide. For example, the glucan is made by the glucose units and the galactane which is made by the galactose units. There are the three important polysaccharides which are starch, glycogen and the cellulose. These are the polysaccharides. So starch is a glucose polymer that is the principal food storage carbohydrate in the plants. It is a mixture of two components that can be separated on the basis of water solubility. So the starch is a glucose polymer that is the principal food storage carbohydrate in the plants. The amylose is a linear polymer of D-glucose units joined by alpha-1,4 glycosidic linkage. This is another polysaccharide, that is the amylose. This is the linear polymer which contain the alpha-1,4 glycosidic linkage. The amylopectin is a branched polymer of D-glucose unit hooked by alpha-1,4 glycosidic linkage, and the branches are created by the 1,6 glycosidic linkage. That means the amylose is a linear polymer of D-glucose which join by the alpha-1,4 glycosidic linkage, while the amylopectin is a branch polymer of D-glucose units which are hooked by the 1,4-glycosidic linkage, and the branches are created by the 1,6-glycosidic linkage. So these starch, amylose and the amylopectin are the polysaccharides. And the glycogen functions as a carbohydrate storage from for animals like the amylopectin. It is non-linear polymer of a D-glucose units joined by a alpha 1,4-glycosidic linkage and a 1,6-glycosidic linkages at branches. The structure of a glycogen is similar to that amylopectin, but it has more branches. The highly branched structure of a glycogen provides many available glucose and groups for intermediate hydrolysis to provide glucose needed for the metabolism. And the cellulose serve as a structural material in plants, providing structural strength and the rigidity to plants. It is a linear polymer of D-glucose unit joined by beta 1,4-glycoside bonds. Humans and the other mammals do not have the beta-glycosidase enzyme needed to hydrolyze cellulose, so that cannot obtain glucose directly from the cellulose. So it is a brief information for the polysaccharides, that are the glycogen and cellulose. Let's see the reactions of a carbohydrate. In the carbohydrate or monosaccharide, that are contains the carbonyl functional group as well as the hydroxyl group, that is the alcohols. So due to the presence of this carbonyl and the alcohol, they can be oxidized or reduced. Therefore, they can react with the nucleophiles to form the corresponding product. So what type of reaction are possible on the carbohydrate? That are the epimerization, then the reduction, oxidation, oxazone formation, rough degradation, and the Kilani-Fischer synthesis. So let's see the one by one. The first one is a epimerization. So before starting the epimerization, what are the epimers? The epimers means if we have a two sugars, okay, and that's two sugars that are the diastereomers, and only the configuration of one carbon atom is different and the other are same configuration, that two diastereomers, that diastereomers are called the epimer. For example, the glucose and the mannose. In the glucose, the second carbon atom containing the R configuration, and in the mannose, the second carbon atom C2 is contained the S configuration, and other three carbon contain the same configuration. That means the glucose and the mannose is differs only one configuration of only one carbon atom. Therefore, the glucose and mannose are the epimers. So the epimerization is possible in the this glucose structure. So how it can possible? Let's see. In the presence of base, the D-glucose may be converted into D-mannose via the removal of hydrogen at C2 carbon, followed by the protonation of the enolate. Let's see, this is the structure for D-glucose. So if we react this D-glucose with the NaOH, NaOH is a base, so it can abstract this proton, okay, and after the abstraction of this proton, here it is a formation of negative charge and it can be delocalized and we got the O negative, okay. So here you can see the enolate of this, then and the NaOH is prepared in the water molecule, therefore here this hydrogen is coming either above the plane or below the plane, okay, that means that can be attacked above or below the plane. Therefore we got two types of product. Initially here it is a D-glucose and this hydrogen is present in this side, okay, in the D-glucose, but in the D-mannose this hydrogen is in this side, okay, that means Here it is a enolate formation. When the D-glucose is reacted with the NaOH, there is a enolate formation, and in this structure the hydrogen is attacked from either the above the plane or below the plane, which can be right as like this. Here this hydrogen is right in this side, and in this structure the hydrogen right in this side. This is the structure for D minus, this is the structure for D glucose. So in this reaction we got two types of product. The first product is D minus and the second product is D glucose, and the D minus and the D glucose are the epimers of each other. So this reaction is called the epimerization. Means what? Only the configuration of this carbon atom in the minus. Here you can determine the configuration. This is the S configuration, okay, and in the D glucose this is the R configuration. Only the difference of the configuration of this C2 carbon atom, okay. Therefore these D glucose and the D mannose are the epimers, and the other three carbon containing the same configuration in the D mannose and the D glucose. Therefore these two called as a epimer, and this reaction is called, this is the epimerization reaction. The next reaction is a reduction. So the monosaccharides contains the carbonyl group which can be reduced by the reducing reagent such as a NaBH4 sodium borohydride. The reduction of aldose from one addital and the ketose form two additols. That means when any aldose, it can be reduced with the NaBH4, it gives one alditol, but the ketose gives the two alditols. So how it can possible? Let's see. Here it is a structure for D mannose, okay, and here we reduced this D mannose by using the reagent, that is the sodium borohydride. This is the mild reducing reagent. So this gives the product as like this. This is the D-mannitol. That means this aldehyde is converted into this alcohol. This is the primary alcohol, okay. That means this D-mannose is converted into D-mannitol by using this reducing reagent NaBH4, and we got this structure. Here this is the aldose, okay, and this is the alditol. That means the aldose gives only the alditol, but here you can see this is the structure for fructose, okay, and when we react this fructose with the NaBH4, then we got the product. This is the D-glucitol. That means here you can see there are two types of product. When D-fructose is reacted with the NaBH4, the first product is a D-glucitol, and we got the another product, that is a D-mannitol. That means we got the mixture of two products, that is the D-glucitol and the D-mannitol. So how this is so? Because the NaBH4 means what? Na positive and BH4 negative. That means the hydride can attack in this structure H negative, that is the hydride can attack either above the plane or below the plane. Okay, this is a sp2 hybridized carbon atom. Therefore, the incoming nucleophile, here it is a hydride, is coming from either the above the plane or below the plane. Therefore, we got two types of product, in which here it is the OH hydride is attacked from this side. Therefore, here we write this hydrogen in this side, and the another product in which the hydride attack from this side. Therefore, the product the hydrogen we write in the right hand side. Okay, so the fructose, that means the ketoses forms two alditols, but the aldoses from only one product. That means the mannose converted into D-mannitol, but the D-fructose converted into D-glucitol and the D-mannitol when it is reacted with the NaBH4. So these are the reactions, that is the epimerization and the reduction. I hope you understand. Thank you so much for watching.